You're listening to the Rossco Fantasy Football Show, live on the Peak One Sports Network.
All right, here we are. Again, another episode of the Rossco Fantasy Football Show. Glad y'all could join us. Man, what a week. What a week. And we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. So I guess we should get started on that. But first, welcome to the Rossco Fantasy Show. I'm Ross, and glad you could join us tonight. As always, we are at No Frills in Arlington, and this place is awesome. Service is awesome. Food's awesome. I've got some food on the way, so I'll make sure you guys get to check it out when it gets here. But let's do a little shout out to No Frills for sponsoring the show. No Frills is a local sports bar and grill that offers good times for all ages. Whether you're coming out to catch the game, bringing the kids to the arcade, or maybe you're just grabbing a drink with your friends, visit No Frills Sports Bar and Grill in Arlington, Fort Worth, Mansfield, Keller, or Burleson today. Very cool. So, yeah, No Frills, awesome. I ordered the fried chicken tonight. I thought it might be a good look. So, going to do that. And it should be out shortly. So, before we get too into this, before we have too much going on, I always do my cheers. So, if you guys won this week, here's to you. Oh yeah. And hey, you know what? If you didn't win this week, it's okay. We'll be back. Oh yeah. It's good stuff. All right. Well, let's do a little shout out for our Peak One sponsors. And then also make sure you guys are getting into the comments. Make sure you let us know that you're watching. Hey, Joshua Ross, let's go. What's up, Ashton? I see you there. But yeah, make sure you let us know if you're in the comments, and let us know where you're watching from. And if you have any questions, any fantasy questions, you can throw them in the chat. Or if you want, you can watch the show, and then later on, I'm actually going to post the link to join the show right there in the comments. So you'll be able to join and ask your fantasy questions at the end. But if you have comments, just can't wait, go ahead and throw them out there. So, all right. Well, so shout outs for our Peak One sponsors. We'll start with the Dapper Dog Academy. The Dapper Dog Academy is a top-notch dog training academy located in Cleburne, Texas. Owner and head trainer Corey Bennett has nearly 10 years of experience helping your canine companions become the best version of themselves. Contact Corey and the Dapper Dog Academy on Facebook and book your consultation today. Great people over at the Dapper Dog Academy, helped out a lot of people around the area, and so I highly recommend them. Make sure you give them a shout. And they do everything. If you need they'll watch your dog, they'll train your dog. I mean, it's a cool thing. So make sure you check them out. And also shout out Dubby. I got my Dubby here with me tonight. I'm rocking it. Super excited. Oh, label out. So love Dubby. And if you're seeking a superior energy drink to replace those inferior caffeinated beverages, Dubby contains 0 maltodextrin, 0 artificial colors or dyes, and 0 proprietary blends. The coffee fruit extract is the star of this delicious drink, helping you to energize without the jitters or crash. Order Dubby using code PEAK1, and actually you'll get 10% off your order today. Make sure you check them out, Dubby. Big fans. Love you guys. So shout out Dubby. All right. Well, this week for me was it was hit or miss, and I saw in a lot of my opponents in the games that I won, they had those guys that kind of let them down that, those plays, they should have worked. But they just didn't. And I'm really excited about this week's just who sucked the most for a lot of reasons. Number one, I'm a big fan of Evan's Vacuum, so I always just love doing the segment. But number two, I'm super excited because this week we've had some changes. to who sucks the most. And if you've been watching the show, you know what I'm talking about. So, but first, let's shout out the sponsor of Who Sucked the Most, Evans Vacuum. Does your vacuum suck, or maybe your vacuum doesn't suck? Either way, you should go visit Evans Vacuum. You know it as the store with the big vacuums in the windows, but since 1937, people all over DFW have known Evans Vacuum as the leader in quality vacuum sales and service. Swing by one of 3 Evans locations, either Arlington, right down the street from us, North Richland Hills, or their Camp Bowie location in Fort Worth. If you do, you'll receive a free estimate to fix that less sucky sucker that you have. Or if you mention the Rossco Fantasy Show, you'll get 25% off your purchase. And that's huge. When you're talking, whether it's just a box of bags or you're talking about a new vacuum, 25% off your purchase is huge. So visit Evans Vacuum today. All right, so for this week's Who Sucked the Most, we've got some new candidates, and that's why I'm excited. We got rid of Travis Kelce. We got rid of Isaiah Likely. We got rid of Sam Laporta. So I'm excited because, man, I started getting some feedback from some of the people who watch the show, and they're like, dude, you got to get Kelce off of there. He doesn't suck. And I said, well, you know what? Maybe if he gets a touchdown, maybe if he gets, like my beard's looking weird. Maybe if he gets a touchdown, or if he gets enough points that I feel like he doesn't suck this week, I'll put him out there. So guess what? Travis Kelce, you don't suck anymore. You actually did decent. I mean, it only took an injury for you to actually, get some fantasy numbers. But, oh well. This week's Who Sucked the Most, I'm going to go straight forward. It was my guy, dude, Breece Hall. I told you guys a couple times throughout the year, oh, hey, what's up, man? Everybody shout out Dave.
Hello.
Yo. Oh, and what do we got, dude? We got the fried chicken with some green beans. Check that out, guys. That's awesome. Thank you, Dave. And we also I got the jalapeno bottle caps. These guys are awesome. They're jalapeno. It's like fried pickles, but with jalapenos. So yeah, definitely a big fan, and I'm excited. Now I can eat. So all right, sweet. Let's put that right here. All right, so Breece Hall kind of sucked this week. He's had some great weeks in the past. I was really excited. But this week, he only got the 10 carries, and he only had 4 yards rushing on those 10 carries. And he did catch 2 receptions on those 5 targets for 14 yards. But all in all, not super great. And then, so if you were watching this game, you saw in that first quarter, he got stuffed at the goal line. And, that's where he's, it's Breece Hall. He's at the goal line. You want him to do good. So I was a little disappointed there. And then in the third quarter, he got 7 carries, but he only got, oh, thank you, sir. Got my Texas toast. So I'm going to put that right there on the plate. Thank you so much. Okay. In that third quarter, he had 7 carries, which is kind of big considering a lot of times running backs are averaging 15 to 20. So getting like a half of that or like a third of that in one quarter is pretty big, but he only put up -3 yards. So I don't know. He got outplayed by Braylon Allen. Braylon Allen outplayed him. So I'm thinking that if he doesn't bounce back next week, which could be kind of tough considering their opponent, I'm thinking you might start seeing a little bit of a split. So that Braylon Allen name is the name that you might want to pay attention to, because it looks like we could be heading towards that split. I also put Amari Cooper on here. Amari Cooper, you suck. 4 receptions on 8 targets for 35 yards. 4 for 35 isn't bad if 4 is all you're going to get, if maybe you're a backup or, if you're on my bench. But when you've got 8 targets, I really would hope that you would catch a couple more of those, and who knows what the yardage could have been. But he had that big game versus the Giants. Of course, I was real excited about. But then this game, he got outplayed by Jerry Jeudy. And in the fourth quarter, Amari Cooper would not have made the list. Okay, if that fourth quarter 82-yard touchdown had not been reversed because of that penalty. I'm not sure that was holding. Y'all let me know. If you're in the comments, let me know. So, hey, Cooper, I see you checking it out. Hey, Rossco, watching from Fort Worth. And also, hey, Dave. Yeah, Dave getting some shout-outs from Cooper and Ashton. Devin. Oh my gosh, Devin, I'm so glad that you're watching. Yes, please come out and hang out, dude. I'll even let you sit at the table with me. But it'd be great. We could talk some fantasy. We could eat some stuff, whatever. Come on out. I encourage everybody, come out, hang out with me. Corey Smith throwing it out there. Brees Hall is killing me, dude. Me too, bro. I mean, I don't know if you're playing in a PPR league, because if you are, he might not be like hurting you as bad. But if you're in like a standard league, yeah, I can totally see that. Brees Hall definitely sucks this week. Amari Cooper, you suck. Now, normally, if you've been watching the show, you've seen I've had those three guys that, Sam Laporte, Travis Kelce, Isaiah Likely. They haven't done anything. This year is the year of no tight end, I guess. This year is making friends of mine. Oh, it is the standard league. All right, Corey, I see you there. Yeah, dude. Standard league, definitely not gonna. It just sucks, and that's why I like Brees Hall though. It's because in those PPR leagues, he's making those catches, getting you those points. So, thanks, Corey, for watching. Now, this week I put Travis Etienne on here, and there's been a couple weeks that I've thought, man, Travis Etienne, dude, I don't know if you're gonna do it for me. I don't want to say I drafted him high, right? But I mean, you draft him up there, probably before you grab your tight end. If Kelce and Laporta and Andrews are already gone, you probably went ahead and grab that backup running back or that flex kind of position. But this week, only 11 carries for 50 yards. He did have one catch on those 2 targets for 10 yards. So I guess that's not like the worst, but I'd like to see more catches. He did get a shoulder injury in the first quarter, so I can't be too hard on him. But he played through it, so I guess I really can't be too hard on him. And I do think he's still going to be the top back in Jacksonville. I mean, he's going to get the start every week. He's going to get the chance to perform a little bit better. But I do think that moving forward, we're going to see more in Tank Bigsby. So pay attention to that name. Maybe don't go pick him up right now. Don't use your waiver on him. But, if watch out. He did get 7 carries for 90 yards. So when we talk about the 7 carries in the third quarter, that Brees Hall got, and he only put up -3 yards, right? I mean, 7 carries on 90 yards. You can see what's possible. I don't know. Travis Etienne Jr. This week you suck. And then I only put Devon Achane on here just because of the expectations that he had last week. I mean, everybody was expecting him to do really well. Mozart's out. Yeah, Jalen Wright hadn't really been doing much, but this week, 10 carries, 15 yards. He did catch 3 balls on those 3 targets for 14 yards, but then ended up with that ankle injury. Got stopped twice on the goal line in the fourth quarter, which, I mean, part of me says, like, well, you can't blame him. I mean, that's offensive line, that's this and that. But as we saw from all of us who benched Kenneth Walker this week when his first week back, you should bounce outside. Just bounce outside. Maybe. I don't know. It's just not the same without Tua. It's just not. The teams that are playing against the Dolphins know that they're going to have to run. They know they don't really have a quarterback. So, this running game for the Dolphins is not exciting me a whole lot. But we could see more of a split with these guys too, and that Jalen Wright, is on the team, and it's possible. So that's this week's. You know what? Boop. Just kidding. I got more. Kyle Pitts. Now, dude. Kyle Pitts I've been wanting to put on the list for a while, but I'll be honest, I didn't want all the viewers, I didn't want all you loyal fans to get upset with me for just having tight end after tight end after tight end after tight end. Again, I mentioned this year is definitely the year of no tight ends, and William agrees. This is the year of no tight ends. So I put him up here because, man, I played him last week, dude. I didn't have any other options. I drafted him kind of decent. I mean, he's Kyle Pitts. Wasn't he like the 4th pick in the draft that year? I don't know, but no receptions. hey, at least Cousins is trying. You know, he threw it to him 3 times before, and the guy didn't catch it before he said, you know what, I'm not going to throw to you anymore. So these last 3 games, hey, we're doing good, LA. Thank you so much. You know what? I'm going to do the Dan Boyer. Let me get another shot. All right. Yeah. Shout out, Dan, if you're watching. One of my funniest memories of days of old, just going out to the bar and being like, and we'd get shots. It was great. Okay, so Kyle Pitts, the last 3 games, he's only had 5 receptions on 12 targets, 79 yards. Not super great. Obviously, Cousins likes Mooney. And I did put down here 2024 worst tight end year ever. Yeah, so Kyle Pitts, you suck this week. Devin Singletary, another one. You know, I started him against the Cowboys. Just watching the way that the Cowboys defense got ate up by Derrick Henry and Alvin Kamara, I'm like, surely, even though Devin Singletary isn't like on the same tier, I mean, he'd been doing okay. I would think going up against the Dallas defense, he would do a lot better. But nothing good against the Dallas defense. 14 carries, 24 yards, only caught 1 ball. He was only thrown 2 once for 14 yards, no touchdowns. Ended up with like 4 points, 4.5 points in fantasy for me. And it was just not working out. So I'm upset. And that's why I put him on who sucked the most this week. He's averaging 14 touches per game, which is pretty decent. But he's only averaging 55 yards per game, which is not great, right? And then next week he plays Seattle defense. That's bad. You don't want that. Oh, thank you so much. You're the best. Again, make sure you guys come out, check out No Frills in Arlington. These guys are awesome. You saw Dave earlier. LA is a great server. All the servers are awesome. People are nice. And prices are pretty good, too. Just being honest. Okay. Well, you know, that is who sucked the most. Brought to you by Evans Vacuum. And I hope you guys agree. Let me know. Hey, Dumb Sports Takes. Well, because you're joining us, this one's to you, Dumb Sports Takes. Cheers. Excuse me. I usually order that just a little bit earlier, but I did. I'm lying to you guys. I ordered another one. Shot. Okay. Well, I guess since we're done with that, we'll go ahead and move on. And this one always gets me going too. I'm a big fan. Because I love these guys. Great work. And of course, I'm talking about my sponsor for To Cut or Not to Cut. It's going to be Double F Landscaping. I love those guys. Okay. Now, be aware, I do not love the guys that are in this segment. I just love Double F Landscaping. So as always, To Cut or Not to Cut is brought to you by our friends at Double F Landscaping. If you're looking to make a cut or maybe a change to your backyard lineup, contact Double F for all your yard maintenance, flower bed installs, backyard renovations, and those fast approaching fall cleanups. Get your free estimate today by calling 817-631-3399 or check them out on Facebook at Double F Landscaping. Double F Landscaping, make your yard look so good, the Joneses will be trying to keep up with you. Love those guys. They got great promos. Yeah, Double F Landscaping. Make sure you check them out. So this week's To Cut or Not to Cut, it's going to be all cut. It's all cut. I'm only talking about dudes that you don't want to keep on your team. I'm sorry if I upset some of you guys. Let me know what you think in the chat about some of these cuts, but I'm just going off of what I think. So let's get it going. This week, number 1 candidate for To Cut is going to be Zamir White. And I know there's going to be some of you out here, considering that he's rostered in 80% of leagues. I know there's some of you out here who are going, but he's Zamir White. Yeah, he is. But he has not had more than 50 rushing yards in any game so far. He's only had 5 receptions and 16 yards on those 5 receptions so far. And if you're looking at PPR, he hasn't gone over 5.5 points. in any game so far. We're talking 4 games he hasn't gone over 5.5 points. And then he's going to fumble against Cleveland and it gets returned for a touchdown. Dude, he's done. He is done. You want to know why? Well, it's because right here. Look out for Alexander Madison, right? Do you remember? You remember when Dalvin Cook got hurt and that guy came in and you picked him up and you won your league because of it? Same dude. Alexander Madison, in that one game, had 5 carries for 60 yards. He averaged 5.1 yards per carry. And he's got, he's got 5 carries for 60 yards so far. They haven't had to use him a whole lot, but he's averaging 5.1, and he has 3 touchdowns already through 4 weeks as like kind of a backup. And then Zamir White does this, and he comes in and just kind of busts out, a 5.1 yard per carry average throughout the season, but it's like 12 yards per rush in that game. So watch out for Alexander Madison. And if you have Zamir White, I promise you, dude, you're not going to miss him. It's not going to matter. Just go ahead and cut him. Okay? All right, cool. The next candidate to cut would be Cam Akers. Okay, now, if you watch the show, I told you guys in previous weeks, like especially when Joe Mixon got hurt, I was like, hey, Cam Akers kind of stands to be the one to like fill in for Joe Mixon. And I was right. I mean, he filled in, but he didn't do so hot. And now Joe Mixon has the potential for coming back this week. He might not, but he might. Cam Akers is still owned in 48% of leagues. So every other league, somebody's got Cam Akers. So make sure, if you've got Cam Akers, make sure you go ahead and get rid of him. And, cut it. So right now, Cam Akers is averaging about 3.3 yards per carry in the last 2 weeks. And like, that's a great, that's great if you're maybe like in high school. But I mean, at this point, Cam Akers, you should be doing better. He's only got 17 fantasy points all season. And not only is Joe Mixon coming back, but remember, Damian Pierce is set to come back pretty soon too. And he's like the actual backup. So cut him. I put a little note here. I hope you guys all agree. I said, we all appreciate the 2-week audition, but 17, I don't know. I'm just not doing it. So you can go on and get. Cut him. And I got one more guy, and I made sure to make a goofy kind of picture of him. It's Gabe Davis. Now, you might remember Gabe Davis from the days of Buffalo when he was just like one of Josh Allen's favorite guys. Not the case anymore. Gabe Davis is still rostered in 38% of leagues. And I mean, I guess I can see like, those first 2 weeks, he got 6 receptions on 10 targets for 105 yards, right? So you're like, oh, it's Gabe Davis. Sorry, hold on, guys. Sorry, I gotta just. All right, man, that was bothering me. Okay, so the first 2 weeks, he looked pretty decent. He looked like somebody you might want to play over Christian Kirk. He might, if you were lucky, maybe you played him the right game. But these last 2 weeks, he's only got 3 receptions on 11 targets. And so what that tells me is if you divide that by 2, let's say 5.5 targets a week. Okay, cool. But that's like 1 or 2 catches on those 5.5 targets. And so what that tells me is that it's more of a receiver problem than a quarterback problem. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. But Christian Kirk and Brian Thomas Jr., they're putting on a show right now. This last week was just the Brian Thomas, Christian Kirk show. And Evan Ingram is coming back, so he's going to start soaking up more of those targets. So I think Gabe Davis is a cut-it candidate for this week. And that is To Cut or Not to Cut, brought to you by Double F Landscaping. This week it was all cuts. All cuts. But, when you cut somebody, you've got space to add somebody. And so we always do bye to just kind of talk about one more time just in case. Okay. So this week's buy. I think I did a good job this week. I don't know what, you guys let me know. But it's getting harder and harder each week to find those guys, right? Those guys that you need to get. Now, some would say it's getting easier with all of the injuries that are happening. Could be true. But nevertheless, you'll still have to pick up some guys. So let's talk about it with some of our new music we got going this week. As always, Bye is brought to you by our friends, Buy with Bry DFW. Are you ready to buy? Buy with Bry is a realtor you can trust with 6 years experience in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, in-depth knowledge of the market, and a passion for finding you the right home. Buy with Bry DFW is the best way to buy DFW. Visit them on Facebook today, right there, at Buy with Bry DFW. He's a pretty good guy. Pretty good dude. And he definitely is. He's not joking, man. This guy knows what he's talking about. So make sure you check out, if you're in the market for a house, make sure you check out Buy with Bry DFW. All right, so this week, Wan'Dale Robinson, guys. He's only owned in 27% of leagues, okay? And just this last week, he had 11 catches, not targets, 11 catches on 14 targets. That's big, right? Now, Malik Neighbors has been like the receiver messiah for the Giants, right? They're talking about him like they were Odell Beckham Jr., like he's the greatest thing to ever happen to us. Well, he might be out next week, or this week. He might be out this week, right? He got that concussion, and it was on a Thursday game. So, I guess it's technically possible that he comes back, this week. He has a chance. I just don't know. Concussions in the NFL now, they don't go well together. The NFL is doing a really top-notch job of making sure these guys get rested and are ready to come back before they come back. So, but if Neighbors is back, Robinson should still see an increase just based on play, just based on the way he's been playing. He's averaging 9.5 targets per game. That's like almost wide receiver numbers. That's almost wide receiver numbers. It's going to come down to what he does with that. Where y'all at in the comments? Let me know. Come Sports Takes. I see you guys. Hell yeah. You know what? Just for sticking around, I'm going to cheer you. I also need a drink. The throat was getting a little bit parched. Okay, so over the last 2 weeks, Robinson has 132 yards on 18 catches. Even if you divide that in half, I'm bad at math, but that's still like about 9 catches and like about almost 70 yards, maybe like 65. 65 catches on 65 yards on 9 catches. That'll do pretty good. Okay. All he needs is a touchdown, and he's a wide receiver 1. So I'm just letting all of you watching right now. Maybe you're only seeing a clip of this. This is a guy that needs to be owned in 100% of leagues, or 99% of leagues, or 98% of leagues. The fact that he's only owned in 27% of leagues right now is huge. You need to get this guy. This is worth your waiver claim. Chances are he's not going to last past waivers. So if you're putting in a claim, you might want to put it in on this guy. But hey, maybe you don't need a wide receiver. Maybe you don't. Maybe you need to be watching from Arlington, Texas, like Cooper Dunn. Okay. Maybe you don't need a wide receiver. Maybe your wide receivers are good. Maybe you're one of those guys or one of those people who needs a quarterback. All right. Oh, Cooper, Robinson rocks. You just picked him up last week. I bet you're a happy guy. You were a happy guy, dude. You're so happy because now not only did you have that impressive game last week? But dude, the future is bright. If Malik's out this week, you're going to be in really good shape. You're going to be in really good shape. I mean, you're basically playing Malik this week. So, yeah, you should be happy. You should be. All right, now, maybe you're not happy with your quarterback, okay? Look at Geno Smith. What are we talking? Why are we talking about? Why is he only owned in 44% of leagues, right? I mean, you've got, like, Herbert still owned in more leagues. You've got, I don't know. I don't even want to think of examples. But, dude, come on. This season, he's already got 1,182 yards, 4 touchdowns, which I know. 4 quarterback, 4 touchdowns through 4 weeks. Not that great. But he's got a 72.3% completion rating, which is good. But a 91.2 QBR, that lets you know this guy's smoking. Dude, he's not a 70. He's not, I mean, Geno Smith, people. Did you forget that Geno Smith has Tyler Lockett and he has Smith and Jigba? And then he's got Kenneth Walker. You forgot about those guys. Oh, and you thought I forgot about DK Metcalf, a man among boys. I didn't forget. Geno Smith. Now, he's going into a potential for a huge game against the Giants. I mean, Dak Prescott did pretty good against the Giants. We saw CeeDee Lamb get a touchdown. There's a really good chance Geno throws for more than 1 touchdown this game. And so if you're needing to replace that quarterback, right? Maybe, you've got Tua. Maybe you've got somebody going out on bye weeks. Maybe you're just not happy with the production that you've been getting from guys like Joe Burrow and all those guys. Well, guess what? Go get them, because so far on the season, Geno already has more fantasy points than, look at this list, folks. Look at this list. Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow, CJ Stroud, Patrick Mahomes. Geno Smith has more points than Patrick Mahomes. That's something to pay attention to. So if you're looking to make a change, make sure you grab Geno. And then I got one more for you. Rico Dowdle. Everyone, a lot of people drafted Rico Dowdle and then dropped him. A lot of people picked him up in the first couple weeks because they thought, maybe Zeke will do something. And then they dropped him. He's only owned in 48% of leagues. And finally, we saw he kind of started to take a step forward, right? He had 11 carries for 46 yards. He caught the only pass that was thrown his way. Dak, you could throw his way a little more. We'd appreciate it, right? That was for 15 yards, and he got that touchdown. So I think moving forward, I told you guys like last week to get rid of Zeke. There's no point in keeping him. But now, this is a guy I think you should look at. The Cowboys are going to run it. The Cowboys are going to run it no matter what. And, so I just think that's worth looking at. He scored his first touchdown of the season. And we were talking about Zeke. He beat Zeke by like 6 carries, which if you're Zeke, right, not excited about. But no, 27 yards. He does have some tough defenses coming up. So I'm not really saying that you need to go grab this guy on waivers. I'm not saying you need to start him at all. But this is a guy that if you're going to go buy right now, or maybe you want to look at that trade with somebody in your league, maybe you could try to trade for him and get rid of your trash, and grab Rico Dowdle. That might work out well for you. So that was Bye, brought to you by Buy with Bry DFW. And now a lot of stuff going on this week as far as injuries. A lot of stuff going on this week as far as changes and just disappointment, and They say don't fix it if it's not broken. But I think we've had a few broken things this week. So just want to go ahead and, you know what? We'll do this one. It's time to fix your fantasy roster with roster repair. Now, remember, it's spelled like the way Dan spells it, roster repair. Got it. But roster repair, as always, is brought to you by K&B Automotive Care, LLC. If you wish someone would come to you for that oil change you've been waiting to get done, or maybe you've got a check engine light on, K&B Automotive Care, LLC provides mobile diagnostic services and repair covering a range of vehicle issues here in the DFW. Call to schedule an appointment, 682-704-1291. BMW, Mercedes, Jaguar, Range Rover, Mini Cooper, Ford, Chevy, Dodge, Honda, and Toyota too. If you're looking for honest, quality car care on the go, call K&B Automotive Care, LLC today at 682-704-1291, or find him on Facebook at K&B Automotive Care. Love those guys. K&B Automotive Care, coming in clutch when you need them. So super excited to do this segment with them every week. Now, for roster repair, we have to talk about the inevitable, and there's a few to talk about. So I'm going to start with the one everybody's wanting to know about. So, Kansas City. We had no performance from Steele, and Rashee Rice had an no injury. I'm supposed to say injury right there. I don't know. It kind of my logo kind of covered it up, so I apologize, folks. But either way, see that? That stinks. That stinks. We don't want that. There's Carson Steele. He stinks. Well, what do we do? All right, Rashee Rice got injured now. Carson Steele didn't do anything for you. I'm sorry. I gave you bad advice. I thought this dude was going to go off, and I was wrong. And that happens in fantasy. So make sure you let me know if you're mad at me in the comments because I told you to get Carson Steele and he didn't do it. I bet. Rashee Rice probably, maybe, might have torn his ACL. So that's it for Rashee Rice. We'll find out for sure here real soon. But he got carted off the field, and that's never good. Carson Steele in week 4, like I said, only 2 carries for 6 yards. He had 1 catch on 3 targets for nothing. I mean, he caught it. Cool. All right. And then he lost a fumble. So what do you do if you have to fill that spot? You know, you had Carson Steele, and now you got 5 weeks coming up, and then maybe you had Rashee Rice, and I don't know. So I have an idea, and I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you forgot Kareem Hunt. You forgot Kareem Hunt. Don't forget about him. Kareem Hunt's back. Okay, he's only rostered in 38% of leagues right now, but I'm just throwing this out here. He's got a really, really good chance to be the starter for the rest of the season. He's got a lot to prove. Isaiah Pacheco's out for a long time. We know that. Now with Rashee Rice going out, we saw the increase for Travis Kelce, but they're going to have to run the ball. They have to have somebody to run it, and it's obviously not Carson Steele. So that being said, oh my goodness, is that Little William? Did Cooper Dunn's son type a comment in the chat? I'm so thrilled. Hey, William, if you're watching. Okay. All right. Love that kid. He's going on 2 years old now, William. And that's great. I don't know if my son's watching. I told him it was here, but you know what? If you're watching, I love you. Okay. So Kareem Hunt, this last week, right, it was his first week, kind of did work, right? I mean, he was back, and but he had 14 carries for very nice yards. Do you see his yardage? Okay, it's very nice. He had 14 carries for 69 yards. Yeah, he caught 2 of the balls thrown his way for 16 yards. And, I mean, I'm just saying, I think Kareem Hunt is going to be the way to go if you have to have those Kansas City running back points. We've seen it before. Kareem Hunt can do it. He's a little older now. And what I saw, I don't know about you guys, let me know. If you're watching, let me know in the chat. But I wasn't really super impressed with, like, Kareem Hunt's agility. You know, I mean, he just looked like a really strong dude that ran fast. But I think at this point in his career, Kareem Hunt's giving up on, like, trying to and juke people out. I think Kareem Hunt's he's just going for the yards, right? Like, I'm going to hit you and carry you as long as I can. We'll see. Now, I put Clyde. Oh, yes, ma'am. We're doing fantastic. Thank you so much. Now, I did put Clyde Edwards-Helaire on here because he's Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Surely you don't forget what happened before he got hurt, right? I mean, he was pretty good. But he's rostered in 8% of league. Right now, still on the non-football injury list, dealing with some stuff. It's not breaking news. He got shot. You know, somebody tried robbing him and they shot him. So if you're thinking long-term, almost like a handcuff for Kareem Hunt, maybe, you could look at Clyde Edwards-Helaire. What happened to my music? I want some music. You know what? Let's do this one. This one looks cool. And I'm just going to make sure that this one keeps going. I'm sorry. I don't want to let you dance. All right. Jonathan Taylor. This hurts me personally. Jonathan Taylor suffered that high ankle sprain against Pittsburgh. Of course, the coaches nowadays, it's like the game. It's part of the game to, like, you know, belittle a injury or like, oh, well, we don't know. I mean, he's week to week. You know, we don't know. But everybody's saying it's believed to be a mild injury and he's not expected to be put on IR, which is good, right? Because that means he doesn't have to miss 4 weeks or more, okay? But even with the mild sprain, most running backs in the league are getting a lower snap count until they're 100%. So it's worth watching, okay? Tomorrow, if you're watching tonight, it's Tuesday, right? Tomorrow, on Wednesday, the Colts are going to release that injury report, and we're going to really kind of maybe have a better idea, right? Like, if he's listed as doubtful, probably a good chance he's going to be out for at least a week or two. If he's listed as questionable, probably a good chance he misses this week, or he plays this week but unlimited snaps. Okay? So make sure you're paying attention. Now, if he's out, I wouldn't do this, guys. I'm seeing that a lot of people, like Trey Sermon, is one of the top ads right now in fantasy football. Everybody's grabbing him because Jonathan Taylor's hurt. Here's what I think. I think that it's a reaction. Okay, Jonathan Taylor gets hurt. He's out for a long time. And very good. Really good. That's really good. Okay, so we're used to this. We're used to Taylor getting hurt. You know, if it's not his foot, it's his ankle. If it's not his ankle, it's his knee. If it's not his knee, it just doesn't feel good. But there is a chance that Trey Sermon gets the start if Taylor sits. Okay. So the reason I put him on roster repair is because I mean, he's going to be the starter for a very heavy run offense that doesn't have a quarterback. I mean, everything I've seen, Richardson might come back. He might not. I mean, we're not sure. So when you don't have a quarterback, you're going to have to run. And we see the example of that in Miami, right? Tua's out. It's all up to Achane and Jalen to get the run game without a quarterback, and they're getting shut down. Trey Sermon has potential for a stronger game because he's playing against Jacksonville. I don't know if you've had a running back that played against Jacksonville this year, but if you did, you're probably happy. Now, I made this very special for this slide, and I want you guys to pay attention to this, okay? I'm going to read this as it should be read. Caution, okay? Warning. Do not use your waiver move for this guy, okay? Make sure you are desperate for a running back and only use the player if you have no other option, okay? Jonathan Taylor's coming back. I don't know if it's worth the waiver move. I see a lot of people doing the waiver moves. Not sure if it's worth it. But, if you have no other option because of bye weeks and injuries, this is a guy you could play and you might do okay. All right? Trey Sermon. I mean, through week 4, he's only got 9 carries for 24 yards, 1 catch on 1 target, 7 receiving yards with a touchdown. I mean, that's like the only thing that saved them. And it's not looking impressive, but it might look impressive if Taylor's out. Okay. And I got one more for you, okay? I don't think that this one affected as many people. But with Jordan Love back, I mean, Green Bay is a viable fantasy option again, okay? So Christian Watson suffered a high ankle sprain in the second quarter against Minnesota, but he only got thrown to once before that injury, and he didn't even catch it. Now, the coaches are saying it's a mild sprain and he won't go to IR, but, I mean, again, just like Taylor, I don't know. Now, based on my research, it seems like Christian Watson's ankle sprain is a little bit worse than Jonathan Taylor's ankle sprain. And I don't know, maybe Dan could enlighten us if he's watching and getting in the comments, but he knows a lot more about this kind of stuff. But I don't know how you have a worse ankle sprain than not as bad ankle sprain, but that seems to be the case. So coaches are saying it's mild. He's not going to go to IR, but he's definitely going to be out for week 5. Might be out for week 6. I don't know. If you're asking me, I'm going to say he's probably coming back in week 7 or 8. So what are you going to do? Well, look at this guy right here. Dontavian Wicks. He's only owned in 15% of leagues, which is really good. And week 4, if you were watching, you saw, dude, he got thrown to 13 times. 13 targets is pretty big. Wide receiver 1 target share. Now, he didn't catch a lot of them. He got less than half of them, to be frank. I mean, 5 receptions on 13 targets, not great, but did he make it count? Absolutely. 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns on 5 catches, and he got 78 yards. So Jordan Love was back, in case you didn't notice. And I think Jordan Love likes him because he was targeted on 27% of the routes he ran. So, of all the times you're running routes as a wide receiver, one or a little more than 1 out of every 4 routes you're running, every 4 plays, basically. Now it is routes ran. There's some running plays. So 1 out of every 4 times that you're trying to run and fake a defender, you're getting thrown to. That's good. Jordan Love's back, and Jordan Love's this guy. This would be a guy you might just grab because he's good. Do you use a waiver on him? I don't know. He's only owned in 15% of leagues. I guess it's worth taking the chance to see if if he's gonna wait. If he's gonna sit around until free agency when you don't have to use that waiver. But it's definitely worth checking out. So, all right. Well, this week for Fantasy Talk with Rossco, I thought I'd do something a little bit different, okay? And I don't know if you like it or not, so let me know in the comments if you like the idea. But first things first, a little shout out to Apogee Graphics for sponsoring Fantasy Talk with Rossco. If you're looking to make your brand stand out, Apogee Graphics specializes in bringing your creative ideas to life. From custom signs and decals to eye-catching posters and innovative 3D products, Apogee Graphics has you covered. Love Apogee. They're awesome. They do all kinds of stuff, man. Check it out. Like, they did my hats. Apogee Graphics did my hats. The Rossco Fantasy Football Show. They even got me some koozies, right? I mean, these guys are legit. You should definitely, if you haven't already, excuse me, check out Apogee Graphics. So in previous shows, right, I have tried to do Fantasy Talk, with Rossco as kind of a blank segment. But I just put the link in the comments, okay? If you guys want to join the show, if you have any fantasy questions, lineup questions, heck, we could set your lineup right here on the show. If they play Toby Keith, I love this part. I love this song. I wish I could have it on the show. Anyways, I just put it in the comments to join, okay? But this week, I figured for Fando, I would do something a little bit different. And I was thinking maybe I'll actually talk about some stuff during Fantasy Talk with Rossco instead of just waiting on people to join. Let me know what you think. So, this week for Fantasy Talk with Rossco, we're going to talk a little bit of the bye weeks coming up. All right, so I got the bye week schedule posted here. This week, we're kind of, we've got some really big guys out. Philadelphia, Detroit, the Chargers, and Tennessee. So, obviously, if you've got Jalen Hurts, right, he's on bye. Devonta Smith, he was already out last week with that injury, but he's off this week, which is great if you're a Devonta Smith owner, because it means that he'll be back, probably next week. The Lions. I'm a big fan of Amon-Ra St. Brown, so filling in for him this week is going to be kind of tough. But Sam Laporta, he finally came off the Who Stuck the Most list. Excuse me. That's great. But I got the bye weeks up, so we can take a look next week. After this week, Mahomes is going to be on bye. Goes Kelsey, so make sure you guys are looking ahead. Also, the Dolphins, not like you're going to be missing a whole bunch. Let's see here. LA. Cooper Cup's out. I don't know what you're really going to get from LA. Minnesota, guess in week 6, if you have Aaron Jones out, and he's kind of been sneaky, right? Am I wrong? Aaron Jones has been a little bit sneaky. So anyway, there's the bye week schedule. So make sure you take a look at that. So you're kind of watching. And then I wanted to do something a little bit different this week for Fantasy Talk with Rossco. So what I did is I decided let's make some comparisons of the rankings, comparing ESPN and Yahoo. So if you're looking at running backs, ESPN still has Jonathan Taylor as the number 1 running back. And then Kyron Williams. I guess you could have him from the Rams. Probably shouldn't have forgot about that. Kyron Williams will be on. Not this week. Next week. Make sure you're going to do that. But this week, ESPN's projecting him to do really good. Kamara, Mason, Henry, Robinson, Hall, Jones. They definitely like Jones. And then Achane, Mixon, Robinson, Cook, Kenneth Walker, DeAndre Swift, Josh Jacobs, Chuba Hubbard, and James Conner. Now, when you look at that compared to Yahoo thinks Derrick Henry is going to be number 1 this week. And then Jordan Mason. And then Alvin Kamara. Then Kyron Williams, Bijan Robinson, James Cook, Kenneth Walker, Breece Hall, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, they still have up there. Aaron Jones, Brian Robinson, James Conner, Devon, Achane, and Chuba Hubbard. So you kind of see a little bit of the difference here. And I think what this might come down to is that literally ESPN kind of leans a little more towards the standard league format. I mean, they do PPR, but they kind of lean a little more towards standard, whereas Yahoo leans a little more towards that PPR format. So here's your rankings for the running backs for this week. I hope you check it out. And maybe it'll help you make your decision, right? Like if I'm wanting to decide if I play, James Conner or, Kenneth Walker this week. Well, if I look at ESPN, they say Kenneth Walker, right? How about James Conner? But if I look at, so, it'll help me either way, right? Well, I didn't just do running backs. I went ahead and did wide receivers. So we got the wide receiver rankings this week. ESPN and Yahoo both agree it's going to be CD. Now, where my question comes in is the Malik Neighbors. He's questionable. I don't know. Even being questionable. But Nico Collins also kind of like, I don't know. Playing against Buffalo. That's rough. But Justin Jefferson coming in solid at the number 3. And then kind of your variations of Chase, Neighbors, Metcalf, Deebo Samuel, Godwin, London, Amari Cooper, Olave, Pickens. I'm really surprised that you didn't blame it all on my roots because I showed up in boots and ruined your lifetime affair. Shout out Garth Brooks. I'm really surprised that Stephon Diggs isn't a little bit higher, but I'm thinking that, I'm thinking it's just because he's not, he just hasn't been Stephon Diggs. And looking at tight ends, because 2024 is the year of no tight ends, let's take a look. Trey McBride, last week was out, George Kittle, Travis Kelce. It looks like what I did. What I did is I accidentally put ESPN twice. I apologize, folks. Those are going to be your rankings for this week. So, well, shucks. We didn't get anybody to join in for the. We didn't get anybody to join in for Fantasy Talk with us, but that's okay. And it's okay because, the Peak One Sports Network is always here to get you up to date with your latest sports news and events. Make sure that you check out the leadoff on Saturdays. Ashton and Tony, they do a great job. Tune in next week to see me on Tuesday. I'll be doing the fantasy show again live here. Hopefully Devin and some of the other guys can come out. Hopefully you can come out and join us. Wednesdays, we have the sports page with Dan. Make sure you check out the sports page. And, no Friday night football this week. But normally on Fridays, we do high school football. Not just any high school football. It's Texas high school football. And it's live on the Peak One Sports Network. So make sure you check us out, like and subscribe if you haven't already. And, it's the Rossco Fantasy Football Show, Week 5. Glad you could join us. going to go enjoy some of this awesome food here from No Frills and invite you guys back next week. Good luck with your fantasy teams. I hope you win all your games. I hope nobody gets injured. Have a good week. And remember, to be a true player, you have to know how to play. Rossco Fantasy Football. We'll see you next